everyone. This is Brian Andres from Drum Magazine, and we are here with the Afro-Caribbean practice pad lesson. Okay, so for today's lesson, we're going to take a traditional Cuban rhythm and apply it in a non-traditional way to the drum set. So we're going to use a rhythm called Cascara, commonly found in salsa, Latin jazz music. Traditionally played on a timbale, but works well on a drum set on the hi-hat. I'm going to go ahead and play it on the hi-hat here to demonstrate it. So example 1 is a 1-measure phrase on 16th notes, the Cascara pattern. It's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so example 2 is a clave rhythm called Rumba Clave, and it's complementary to the Coskata pattern that we just played. Right? I'm going to go ahead and play it on the jam block first to demonstrate it, and then I'll put it together with the hi-hat and play a cross stick. So Rumba Clave, jam block, 16th note pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I can put that together with the Coskata pattern. I'll play the clave now on the cross stick. Sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, example 3 is where we take that traditional rhythm and we take it and put it into a non-traditional way. So I'm going to play the Coskata pattern on the snare drum with my right hand. And I'm going to accent and flam the Rumba Clave part by adding my left hand. It should sound like this. Again, we're in 1 measure of 16th notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can take that 1 measure fill and take it from the snare drum and move it around the drums. So I'm not changing anything except for relocating to the tom-toms. So that measure will now sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can use that in any type of music. It doesn't have to be played in a Latin context. So if I'm playing a rock beat, I can play that fill on the snare drum and then go back to the beat. So I'll give you an example. All right, so that works on all styles of music. It's just an easy little fill based on the Coskata and clave together. So in example 5, we're going to keep the Coskata pattern on the right hand. We're going to discard the clave, the Rumba Clave part. And what I'm going to do with my left hand is play ghost notes, and I'm going to fill in the space that we were leaving vacant with the Coskata pattern. All right, so now we'll get a completely solid 16th note pattern. Coskata with the right hand, ghost notes filling in the empty spaces. It's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you can take that snare drum pattern that I just played in example 5, and now you can move it to the drum set. Lots of different ways to do that. I'm going to give you one example. This will be example 6. We're going to play a little bit of ride cymbal and bass drum and incorporate the tom-toms as well. Same pattern, just put throughout the drum kit. It's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. To give you an idea what that would sound like in maybe a swing context, I'll do a little swing. I'll play that as a 1 measure fill, come back to swinging. It sounds like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. so that gives you one way to apply that to a different context outside of the Latin idiom. All right, so example 7 is going to give us a bit of a different sticking pattern. Everything that we had been doing previous to this, my right hand was dominantly playing the Coskata pattern, right? And my left hand was either playing the clave or it was filling in the spaces that the Coskata was leaving. What we're going to do now is we're going to play that pattern as singles. So I'll be alternating my hands and the Cascara is going to fall where it falls between my right and left hands. All right, so example 7, it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so for example 8, we're going to take that exact pattern I just played on the snare drum, and we're going to move it to the cymbals, as well as keeping some on the snare drums. When I hit a cymbal, right cymbal or left cymbal, I'm going to add my bass drum to that. So the Cascara is now going to be between the cymbals and the snare drum, all right, keeping that alternating pattern happening. So example 8 sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so to give you an example of what that might sound like in, let's say, a rock groove, I'll play a little bit of rock groove and then I'll add that as a fill. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, thanks for joining us here at Drum Magazine. This has been the Afro-Caribbean Practice Pad lesson. Hope you had a good time.